Okay, Dostie here with Dostie's View. We're at Eldora Ski Resort in Colorado, and I wanted to go over climbing skins today. I don't want to get too much in depth. Really, all I want to discuss is mostly the tip and tail kits, all right? Glue is a really important factor with climbing skins, and some are good and some are not so good. And it kind of changes all the time. They have good batches and bad batches. But tip and tail kits are consistent. You can tell when they're good or when they're bad right away. Most tip kits are variations of this simple loop that fits over the tip of your ski. And you just got to make sure that it's wide enough, okay? And my favorite in these is one by Coltex. It's a more complex 3D shape. It's not necessarily really wide like this one is, but because it's deep, it'll fit on almost any tip, no matter how wide it is, and it won't get kicked off. So that's one of my favorites, but it's really hard to find. It's number 26 in the Coltex catalog. BD makes a pretty good one. It's a simple loop, kind of like this. It's you can get it aftermarket. You can assemble it yourself fairly easily. These are 3 screws that go through, and then you break off the points. The only thing I don't like about it is usually when you start those, you got to put your hand on it, and you end up drawing blood. But otherwise, it works once it's installed. But my favorite tip kit these days is the new G3 Escapist tip kit, and just because it assembles so simply and reliably, and these hooks rotate for almost any shape of tip, and so it goes on real solid too, and it doesn't kick off very easily. Okay, so that's half the equation on tip and tail kits. The other half is the tail, and most skin companies are providing a rubberized tail that has some elasticity. This one isn't very stretchy, and then a plastic hook that flips over the tail. And it has a little bit of camming action, but because it's plastic, it deforms. And like I said, this tail is not very stretchy. So I'd call this a B grade tail hook. The ones that I really like are from Black Diamond, and my favorite is the STS tail kit. And you used to be able to get this as an aftermarket tail hook kit, but I've noticed in the last 2 years it's available on their website, except that it's out of stock. It's been out of stock for 2 years. Why is it out of stock, Black Diamond? Because I can get it if I buy one of your full climbing skins, but I can't get it as an aftermarket kit? Nah, you're trying to force me to buy your skins, which have a really good plush, but your glue is not so good anymore. I mean, it's not reliable. Some batches are good, some are not so good. Anyway, if you can, get a bunch of these, because these mediocre tail hooks, they're gonna go bad. The other one that I like is the new one from G3, which is got a really strong camming action on it. This tail is not as stretchy as the BD stretch. This one is really stretchy by comparison, okay? But it has a really strong camming action so that it really stays on and won't come off. Because one of the things that happens when you put skins on, they tend to stretch just from the action of skinning, or the skin gets wet. And so you need some kind of elasticity at the tail to take up that stretching of the skin, because otherwise what happens is this will become loose, and if your glue's not good, which it might not be, okay, your skin's going to come off. So a really solid tail hook kit is an important ingredient in skins. Okay, so let me just demonstrate the advantages of these hooks, and also a lot of times this glue is hard to pull apart because it gets real sticky, and I find it's really easy to put the ski on your boot, put the tip hook on the ski, and then pull down. You get a good mechanical advantage with this. So it will peel apart. There's other techniques, but this is the one I've used for several decades. Okay, and I get that lined up. Now here's the cool part about this STS. If you get it set in the right position, it's got it barely fits, but that forces, when you cam it over, forces this to stretch, so you've got a lot of elasticity in here to take up the skin as it stretches and moves back here, so it will always stay on. The G3 is pretty good too. I like it. This fits on there real solid and strong. And then it's a fairly new glue. It's only had one season on it, but it's peeling apart reasonably easy. Now, again, we've got a really strong camming action. This hook barely fits on, but it will fit over, and because there's such a long length to this hook, it's going to hold that tension even as the skin stretches over time. The other really important thing, and this is how you can tell if you've got a good glue, most of them are too sticky, but you got to be able to rip the hide without taking your skis off. And there's many ways to do this, and some of you can't bend like this, but I think you can. But the key is take the tail off, and then you should be able to pull it just that easy. If it doesn't come that easy, the glue's too new or it's too strong. These are 13-year-old skins, so the glue's really easy to get off, but it's still strong enough after 13 years to do that. And now we'll do number 2. This is a newer skin. Same thing. Pull the tail. And let's see. As you can see, I can't rip it quite as easy, but I was still able to rip it in one clean, smooth Okay, so pull. That's a quick tutorial on the importance of a tip and a tail kit. They're super important, I think. Remember, if you free your heel, you get a free mind. You don't have to follow the herd. So get on out there and spread Telemark. We'll talk next week. Adios.